think we're going to gain some ground, folks. I think we're going to gain some ground this offseason on some folks that don't work. And I'm not talking about Josh Pate. That son of a bitch works hard. I'm not talking about our guy, JD Piquel. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the rest of you jokers. I'm talking about the rest of you jokers that are going to sit on your hands this offseason. We going to eat. We're going to absolutely run you down like the Buffaloes that we are. So I'm telling you right now, we coming. We're absolutely coming. Hey, you are never, just like our competition, you are never safe in the world of college football nowadays. Ever, ever, ever. That statement was never more true than today when running back Quinshon Judkins entered the NCAA transfer portal. Judkins has been the primary back and arguably one of the nation's best backs when healthy for 2 straight seasons. And when you just think, like when you think about what's happened this offseason, the main, and it's only been a month, the main talking point has been about how Ole Miss is loading up for a title run, right? How they've gone out into the portal and they have put in work, right? They have got dudes on dudes on dudes that were not cheap, you would presume, coming to their football program. That transfer portal, that sucker closes today with a grace period of 48 hours. And all of a sudden, one of their best players enters the portal at the very waning hours of this thing. And the only way that this made sense to me was either there was a disagreement that was unattainable, right? You couldn't get over it, or there were 2 sides of the parties that just weren't going to be able to get happy, or this was a strong-arm negotiation tactic. Those were the only 2 thoughts I had today when this individual entered the portal, because here's the deal. Quinshon Judkins and his representation team are not stupid. So when they watch 9, 10, 11 Power 5 football players transfer into their university, all right, and a senior quarterback come back, they know they didn't do it for free. All right, and they know for a fact that they can go and they can demand more money at the last minute, ideally, and get a strong arm tactic and get some, and get, just simply put, get a good raise, right? Get a nice little pay bump and raise. But here's my thing with that. I don't think that were to be true or would be true, or if it were, it would be a bad tactic at this point in the proceedings, because where are your negotiation, strong points here? Where in the negotiations does Quinshon Judkins now have the upper hand? Because here's the deal. This is a massive player and a massive name that just entered the portal when everybody's salary cap is already pressed and stressed. I would imagine. You would imagine, right? Like the Will Howard stuff just happened today, announced officially. We told you that stuff was accounted for 2 weeks ago last night. That's why we felt the need to come on here and talk about it, because we knew it was happening. We knew he didn't have to wait on some official visit. We knew he took 2 official visits elsewhere just to kind of hide the smoke. The smoke was, that dude's going to Ohio State. That was 2 weeks ago, done. All right, so now we got this massive name who you would imagine is going to draw some type of massive check that just entered the portal, gentlemen, at the very waning hours of the sucker. So I'm asking you, if you were responsible for the money allocation at one of these places, which is something we're going to talk about here in a second, if you were responsible for that, how on earth could you come to the decision of you've got the means to sum it up, this late push for somebody when you've probably already been making dozens of late pushes over the last month trying to get your roster finalized?
Yeah, I think I would have probably not pushed as hard as I did and landed some of these top-end offensive guys, because, I mean, the offense has never been the problem at Ole Miss. I don't feel like there was ever a need for them to go in there and just get an Antoine Wells type of guy, especially when you already have Tay Harris coming back, who was one of your leading receivers this past year. I mean, we're talking about Quinshon Judkins, who became the first SEC running back to have 15 touchdowns in their first 2 seasons as a running back. I mean, this guy is really good. He's been invaluable for you in the back end of that offense. So really interesting to know that, hey, we'll spend money all the way over here, but then when it comes to your own guys, kind of got the vibe of like not taking care of my own a little bit.
The understanding I got, and this is just rumors online and stuff, is that he had problems with other teammates and that he wasn't getting along with certain people. And it was kind of a mutual decision for them.
I wanted to save this because I wanted to go through this whole rigmarole about how the last-minute strong-arm tactics don't really make a whole lot of sense. You got very little leverage unless you're just going to go to a program that's got fuck it money, which apparently it sounds like Miami, according to the chat, Miami and Colorado are 2 names in the mix. I had a bunch of different teams on this list that I was all NIL based, right? Oregon probably going to get in the mix here, you would imagine. Tennessee probably going to get in the mix here, you would imagine. TAMU probably going to get in the mix here, you would imagine. They're the teams that constantly, year in and year out, have fuck it money. I'll put 2 lines on the board here in a second.
3 in one day.
All right, so those were the programs that we kind of worried about with regards to, hey, they might be able to walk in, poach your roster, and Miami being one of those teams as well, and nowadays Colorado being one of those teams at the last minute as well. I tend to lean, the longer and the more reading I do about this, I tend to lean more towards what you're talking about. Maybe there was some drastic disagreements with the leadership in this program and where Quinshon Judkins fit because we saw something Jackson Dart put on his Instagram story. It's a soundbite. We're not going to be able to play the clip for you. It's a soundbite from Tom Brady, and I just want to play the sound for you. This was posted on Jackson Dart's Instagram story shortly after Quinshon Judkins' news was announced today.
He was always like, man, if you're about yourself, you may be amazing. I would love to compete against you. Go play for the other team. Because when you're around a bunch of selfish people, and I've been around those, you know.
That's pretty damning, right? If you want to be about yourself, you can be an opponent.
Go play for the other team.
Go play for the other team is what my man said on his Instagram story today. And by the way, he wasn't the only one. His head football coach seemed relatively okay with the news today of Quinshon Judkins entering the portal.
Yeah, quote tweeted his portal announcement as like, appreciate you.
Yeah, ain't going to be no coming back to Ole Miss, it seems like. I thought that might have been. That's why I'm throwing out the strong arm tactic, talking point. It's gone. This wasn't about getting more money from Ole Miss. This was about leaving Ole Miss.
Yeah, just certainly felt that way. Well, then it was kind of weird because like he entered the portal, and then there's kind of like these mumblings of like kind of what we heard over the past few days about these kids that are saying they're entering the portal but not entering the portal officially. But then eventually it got to the point where it's like, yeah, he's officially in the portal. So I don't know if like maybe there was talks about it, then there were some more conversations had, and then that's where they kind of got down to the nitty gritty of things. And it was like, okay, like, yeah, we need to part ways. Because then it became an announcement of this was a mutual departure is what it said.
You know what my favorite part about this season is? The so-and-so can confirm reports. I watched a national reporter today, like 30 minutes after this news broke, tweeted something like, I can confirm officially that Quinshon Judkins is entering the portal. It's like, buddy, get off your high horse. I didn't need you to confirm it. It's already been out there. The goddamn kids tweeted it. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.